You are only allowed new boots every 6 months. This happened back in 1989 when I was in the Navy. When I first checked into my squadron, I was issued a couple pair of coveralls and a pair of flight deck boots. They had special treads to prevent from catching debris like gravel or mud, and had steel toes. Being government-issued boots, they were relatively low quality and uncomfortable. You could buy your own boots, but I was new and couldn't afford to buy anything extra. Anyway, I worked on the flight line that was about a half-mile long and which was made of rough concrete. I walked an average of about 510 miles a day going from aircraft to aircraft doing routine servicing. About 4 months after I was issued the boots, the soles of the boots wore down to where the tread was bare and the leather on the toes wore out. Showing the steel inserts, I went to the supply office to see if I could get another pair of boots. There was an E5 supply clerk in the office who I later found out was a super Karen and was sleeping around with some of the senior enlisted personnel. She asked when I got my current pair of boots and I told her about 4 months ago. She said that I was only allowed new issued boots every 6 months and if I wanted new boots, I had to buy them on my own. Being a newbie, I just took her word for it and just left. Looking back, I should have told my supervisor, but I thought he would have told me the same thing. About a week later, the soles on the front of the boots started peeling off and flapping. So I got some wire and sewed the soles back temporarily. I figured they just needed to hold on for a few more weeks. I also duct taped the toes to cover the exposed steel inserts. One day, I was helping unload a helicopter that just came in from a mission and one of the pilots happened to be the squadron commanding officer. He noticed the duct tape on my boots and asked why I didn't get new boots from the supply office. I told him the supply clerk would not issue me any because it has not been 6 months since I got my current pair. He had a disgusted look on his face and told me to come with him. He went straight to the supply office and sternly told the clerk to get me some new boots now. The clerk looked like she was gonna cry. She didn't even try to argue with the commanding officer. After she gave me the boots, the CO dismissed me and told me to close the door when I left. I guess she got a royal ass chewing after I left. There is another story indirectly involving me and her, but I'll post that later. I love how some supply clerks seem to think that they are giving away their own personal items and are not going to just help out whoever comes here need it. Yay! Supply can be so stupid. I worked in electronic repair in the Navy. The equipment needed a single fuse, so I would order one. But supply says they only come in packs of 5. Okay, I will order 5. Supply says no. You can't order 5 because the equipment only takes 1. I worked at a government hospital where we were issued 3 sets of basic scrubs. Shirt, pants and jacket. I heard the person issuing them was a very difficult hard ass and would not give you more unless you returned the previously issued ones. Being new, I didn't know what size to ask for, so she had me try on the pants. They were about 12 inches too long. She shook her head, said to come back tomorrow. I returned and she had hemmed them for me. Nice surprise. She acted gruff but was pretty nice to me. Our military stories might enjoy this story. I was in Germany in the mid-70s. Tank unit. Coax machine gun barrel got caught in the turret and bent, so I took it to the supply E6. He looked at it and said, "Make it disappear, too much paperwork." He was a cool guy. If you were Navy, you will understand how Marines on fleet duty were treated. Like we were untrained dogs that would pee on the carpet. Some of that is deserved. I once, as an E3, got told by my captain he couldn't find our gunny to draw supplies from a petty officer in supply. I got sent to 6 different clerks, all asking for different paperwork. I went to my gunnery sergeant empty-handed and frustrated. He took me back to our captain so I could explain why all I had was paperwork and no supplies. I got yelled at. Then I got told to come with us and we'll get this sorted. The hell that rained down on that supply office when those 2 walked in the door. I'm pretty sure someone peed themselves. I had something similar when I was a maintenance shift manager at a factory. We got an annual boot allowance, and one of my workers had used his just a little over a month ago. Well, our hydraulic press had a cylinder go out, and flooded the small pit it was in with about 3 inches of hydraulic oil. We got most of it out, but while working on it, the employee ended up getting a bunch of oil inside his boot. So, knowing the hazards of hydraulic oil exposure on your skin, I contacted the safety guy and told him I needed him to issue a new boot voucher. He refused, and so I couldn't let him work on the shop floor the next night. I also sent an email to all managers, including the plant manager, saying that until further notice, this employee is not able to enter the production floor, and can only do tasks in the office, until he is issued new boots. And wouldn't you know it, I had a boot voucher on my desk when I came back in the next night. The best bit from supply is, no, you cannot have the last split cotter pin. Someone may need it, but lack. I need this 151 to fix the MLG door rod. This reminds me of an episode of MASH where they ask for an autoclave. The supply sergeant won't give it to Hawkeye and BJ. Hawkeye and BJ ask him if he has one. He tells him yes, he does. They ask why he can't give it to them. He says because then he won't have one. Stores is for storing. Source: I asked for something once. Nothing builds morale like having to pick up your bootstraps and duct tape them back to the boots, so you can pick yourself up by your bootstraps. I mean, to be fair, she should be aware of how long boots last since she's knocking so many pairs together. Did they also limit you to 1 paragraph? Footwear is important. I used to work at a brewery and we had to wear knee-high steel-toe waders for all the water, beer, chemicals, and equipment. After a couple years I got tired of having to shell out $100 or more on boots every so many months. I had a meeting with the new GM, with a laundry list of requests, and stood my ground on boot reimbursement. Ended up getting every employee a PPE stipend. Squadron? Ship? I was RM-11, USS Enterprise, CVN 65. Looking forward yo that post and think about putting this on our military stories. They work in stores, not issues. I don't think this is malicious compliance since that's where you follow the rules in a way to hurt someone. Please post more. Must know. The ass chewing is their kink. It was all role play.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.